The new Legendary Hero trailer is out for Fire Emblem Heroes. We got Claude. I just recorded a live reaction to this on Twitch, but the commentary audio in it sounded weird. It was all staticky, and I figured if I don't want to listen to it in editing, then people won't want to listen to it on YouTube. So I'm just going to go ahead and re-record this, probably with more succinct commentary, and I'm just going to skip the live reaction part of this because my reaction was very subdued. I was left feeling very whelmed by this reveal. Claude himself actually looks really cool. His art looks good. His skills are cool, if not a little overtuned. And the banner itself is actually pretty good too. I really thought they were going to do this new legendary on green, just because green had Triandra and Hell, and those are just newer mythics that they might want to run a new legendary with, but they did gray instead, and so on gray we have Leaf and Milla, and honestly, I think for most people, gray is a more attractive color anyway, because you got Milla, and just Milla is going to be really useful for most players for raising score and for playing ether raids. Even though Triandra is newer and shinier, and if it were me, I would irrationally want the new... Like, if I liked Claude, I would have wanted him on green, just so I could have an excuse to pull for Triandra and Hell. Anyway, another aspect of the live reaction recordings that I'm now realizing is that they probably get very repetitive after a while, just because, like, every 2 months I'm like, alright, is it Micaiah this time? No? Okay. We'll just have to wait for next time, and usually the idea is, like, if it's not Micaiah, that means I can save orbs, but I've reached a point where I have 1,400 orbs, and I'm starting to get paranoid that they would just never do Micaiah, but I don't want to get too carried away talking about that, because like I said, talking about Micaiah in every reaction video probably gets repetitive. So let's talk about Claude's skills. What I read immediately was this new line of skills called Attack Speed Catch. This is our very first catch skill in the game, but they're introducing it at tier 4, which is slightly interesting. At start of combat, if foe's HP equals 100, or if penalty is active on foe, grants attack speed plus 7 to unit during combat. In addition to that, at start of combat, if foe's HP equals 100 and penalty is active on foe, grants an additional attack speed plus 2 to unit during combat. Basically just incentivizing you to use penalties, but I don't know, I kind of wish, like, the HP equals 100 threat condition is really easy to meet, and I feel like, I don't know, if Claude's whole shtick is doing schemes and stuff, then I feel like there should be more emphasis on penalties. In fact, it might have actually been more fitting to have HP less than 100, but whatever. This way it's easier to activate, and that's what people want. And at first you might be a little underwhelmed by that, just because you would think a new tier 4 A skill would be like really nutty, like Attack Defense Unity was, but honestly this is pretty good. You can get attack speed plus 9 out of just your A slot skill, which is pretty good. That's kind of a... It's kind of a side grade to attack speed solo 4 or attack speed bond 4 or whatever else. On average, it's probably better than a couple of those skills, but yeah. It's pretty good. I kind of want to pull it for my Summer Mia on AR defense, just because right now she has Swift Sparrow, and having the attack speed on enemy phase could be nice as well. But that's attack speed catch 4. We can talk about his perf skills now. He's got Fail Not, Accelerate Special Trigger, effective against flying foes, at start of combat, if unit's HP greater than 25%, grants blah plus 5 to unit during combat, and grants null follow-up. So I've said in previous reactions that I'm getting kind of tired of these conditions that are just really trivial to meet, like HP greater than 25%, like that's basically always going to be active unless you're working with a push skill, which inflicts damage on you every time you attack, or after each combat. But these conditions, like, they're really trivial, especially in this case because Claude has Fallen Star, If unit initiates combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 80%, and after combat grants Fallen Star to unit, and inflicts gravity on target and foes within one space of target. So, this is kind of a weird interaction because it's like, no matter what, he's getting the damage reduction on player phase anyway. But then he gets this status effect, which gives him that effect on player phase again, even though it wouldn't activate because he just attacked. Like, you could attack, get the damage reduction, dance him, but since it's no longer his first combat, that shouldn't activate the, you know, the effect again. I'm pretty sure, at least. But in practice, what this should be, if I'm reading it correctly, is just a better guard bearing that also inflicts gravity. So, like I said, it's a little... I think it's a little overtuned. 80% is a lot. You realize that pretty quickly trying to fight Brave Edelgard with her 80% damage reduction. Speed Defense Range 3 is just the best C-slot skill for him anyway, so people were gonna fodder that onto him regardless, so it makes sense that they just gave it to him. I do think it's a little odd that he doesn't have any skills that inflict penalties except for this gravity effect here. Like, I don't know, you'd think he'd have like a smoke skill or a chill skill or something. Maybe they wanted you to, you know, use your allies to inflict those penalties. That way it's kind of, I don't know, more thematic since he's relying on his allies to help him inflict penalties. And yeah, on that note, thematically, I actually kind of like attack speed catch 4 on Claude, because like I said, his whole shtick is supposed to be like schemes and stuff, and I guess if you're going to translate that to a gameplay mechanic in Fae, then it would be this. Capitalizing on penalties and stuff. But yeah, every new legendary is extremely good. Even the ones that seem underwhelming are still super annoying to fight, like Lilina. So, yeah. When it comes to my analysis on these, like, I can break down what the skills do, but it's kind of redundant for me to say that they're good, because it largely speaks for itself once you know what all the skills do. I will say, you can give him Wind Sweep instead of Fallen Star, and then he will be able to initiate combat without getting counterattacked. And then he doesn't get that follow-up negation either. So it's kind of like Summer Byleth, how people run Wind Sweep on Summer Byleth. The only thing with that is, I don't think people will do that, because he gets this huge damage reduction anyway, and I think he might need Fallen Star to do optimal scoring. Not sure about that. You know, these skills are overtuned, I think, but he doesn't have Iote's shield, so that at least will force people to run Iote's shield in the Sacred Seal slot if they want to use Claude for tanking. But yeah, that's Claude. His attack animation here is pretty cool. I can show that real quick. He does the flip every time he attacks, not just for specials. In fact, for his special proc, he doesn't do the flip, which I think is weird.
If you must.
I really didn't think this legendary tonight would be Claude for a couple reasons. One is just that we knew ahead of time that this legendary was supposed to be Earth. And if it's going to be Earth, why would you do Claude? I mean, I guess it matches his colors, but like, I don't know, man. My first reaction to this was just, I was super annoyed because, like, we had Edelgard with fire, Dimitri with water, and then it was just, it would have been so easy. Just make Claude wind, and it would have been perfect. You got the 3 house leaders with their 3 elements. Edelgard is the Flame Emperor. Dimitri, his root is called Azure Moon. Also, he's blue. And Claude's root is literally called Verdant Wind. Just really annoyed by this. I know they don't like go out of their way to make the elements fitting. Probably in like more than half of cases, like the elements don't really correlate to the character at all. I kind of wish they tried harder on that, but yeah, it is what it is. I would have really liked it if Claude was Wind and then Byleth was Earth. That would have been perfect, in my opinion. But whatever. And like Wind especially, right now there are only two Wind pair-up legendaries, and they're Eliwood and Corrin, and they're pretty good characters, but like, I don't know. Wind could have used like a really good legendary like Claude just to help it get caught up with fire and water. But whatever. The other reason... Wait, did I have another reason to think it wouldn't be Claude? Oh yeah, so people just thought that it would be in April, because April's legendary is supposed to be Wind. This graphic is from the subreddit. I think the user is named FE Big Data. Yeah, this is the calendar we were working with. You can see why people thought this legendary would be green and not gray. So looking ahead, right, in March we have two open spaces on blue, which would usually imply that, you know, the next mythic might be blue, but Lucina, I don't know. I don't know if they want to run a new mythic with an old legendary. If you don't know, it's not like set in stone, they never confirmed this, but it certainly seems like they prefer to run new legendaries and mythics with just with generally desirable units, and I don't think they I don't think that they think the old legendaries are desirable. So I think in March's case, that legendary or that mythic will be green, probably. It could be colorless as well. So kind of the same situation we were in this month, where it could have been green or colorless. As for who it will be, I have no idea. I'll just keep guessing a Shara or a Nonkos every month, like I usually do. I've always thought a Nonkos would make sense on blue, but whatever. Like a blue Astro Mythic. So, April, right? April is anybody's guess. That'll be a legendary hero. It'll be Wind, and who knows? Because the only element, or the only color that's like out of the question, I think, is colorless and arguably green. Green is arguable, though. If I had to guess, I would say blue. But yeah, it could also be red. And as for who it will be, my guess during this stream was actually Sita, and I think that's a pretty solid guess, because you figure if it's like a blue legendary who's Wind, then Sita just kind of fits. She won't have like the same weapon as either Chrom or Saros. I kind of like Sita for April. And then for June, no. We won't know what June is looking like until later. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on now. And since I will always insist on talking about Legendary Micaiah no matter what, I was kind of anxious, you know, coming up to this reveal, because I'm realizing now that, like, if they don't do Micaiah soon, then, like, will they ever do it? It's taken them a conspicuously long time to do Legendary Micaiah, and, you know, there was kind of the fact that Brave Micaiah was literally just what they would have done for Legendary Micaiah, probably, so who knows what will happen there. As far as my summoning goes, this basically means that if April's Legendary is not Micaiah, then I'll be able to dump my orbs on Bridal Micaiah's rerun with no reservations. Also, regular Micaiah's rerun, if they repeat the schedule of 4-star reruns, or sorry, 4% reruns, 4% revival banners, the ones that get refreshed every Sunday. If they confirm at the end of February or March that they're gonna cycle back through those banners, then old Micaiah will appear on a rerun at some point. I think like late March or sometime in April. I'm now realizing that might be before April's Legendary, so we'll see. That's basically everything I have to say. I don't think people usually take my advice on whether or not they should poll, but I usually comment on it, at least. Colorless is pretty good. Green is also good. Red is whatever, and blue is especially whatever. So there. I think that's it for me, Chief. I didn't expect this this re-recording to be so long, so I apologize for that. If you prefer these types of analysis videos where I skip the live reaction, then let me know. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. But before you go, you should subscribe so you can catch the next reaction. And we have a new Heroes reaction, I think Tuesday, next Tuesday. So, I'm running out of breath. Alright, you can go now.